I know you're wondering who we are. We are the value creators in every sector of the economy, both public and private driven. We ensure good governance through transparency and integrity. So who are we? The accountant.
The Accountant Show, inspiring and promoting an accountable Nigeria.
You are now watching The Accountant Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to The Accountant Show, and I'm your host, Ochiko Akejabo. For those who are wondering what the TV program is all about, The Accountant Show. The Accountant Show is meant to recognize and celebrate professionals in the accounting industry, those who on a daily basis take strategic decisions and also provide intros to the development of the nation. And the vision of the show is to raise and inspire the next generation of professional accountants in the society. And also, our mission is to recognize and celebrate individuals in the accounting industry, thereby promoting national development by providing accounting and insurance services, audit and assurance services, advisory services, and so on. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to The Accounting Show. I have a distinguished guest in the house, but before I let you in on who he is, we go for this commercial break, and when we come back, I'll let you in.
For advert placement inquiries on The Accountant Show, please call 0816 376 3766 or 0818 960 4685 or send an email to valueinquire@gmail.com.
Welcome back, and this is The Accountant Show, and I'm your host, Ochiko Akejabo. Like I said earlier on, we have a distinguished guest in the house. Sir, Albert Afolorunsho, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
It is a very, very
my pleasure.
honor to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
You're very welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Sir, before I start on my questioning, I would like to ask, how does it feel when you are in a seminar, you are in a conference, and they read out your profile? I know how I will feel. Yeah, I probably have butterflies in my stomach, you know. How does it feel?
Just give God the glory and thank God for what He has done in my life.
Interesting.
Of course, it's obvious that it takes a lot of effort, and we believe that it also inspires the young
Yes.
to work hard. If you work hard, you get the reward. It's as simple as that.
Yes. That is why one of our vision is to inspire and raise the next generation of professional accountants in the society. And there you have it. This is an inspiration right here. So I would like you to give us a little bit insight on your upbringing, sir, because you are the first Nigerian to hold a diploma in the international taxation from the Institute of Taxation, UK, United Kingdom. So I'm trying to put a balance or get, a microscopic view on your social background. Because I want them to know, because they would see you, Nigerians will see you and say, you are probably rich from the beginning. We don't know. So can you tell us about your upbringing, sir?
Okay, I grew up in a village in Kogi State, Nigeria.
Interesting.
And my parents were peasant farmers.
Wow.
My mother was a business woman.
Wow.
They are all still alive.
Wow.
And I went to the secondary school in the village. In fact, we were the first set of the secondary school in my village.
So what village is this precisely?
Ife-Ijumu in Kogi State.
In Kogi State, okay.
Yes.
Is that the local government area?
It's Ijumu local government.
Ijumu local government area.
And then,
okay.
so I'm from Ife-Ijumu in Kogi State.
Okay.
And of course, growing up, go to farm a lot. In fact, during break, we hear children that look forward to holiday. We hope there will be no holiday, because during holiday we go to farm.
Wow.
Instead of our children now during holiday, they fly abroad. My last baby now, as I speak, is in London for the Easter holiday.
Wow.
And I'm here. So I grew up in the village and with my parents. After my secondary school, I started by going to Kaduna Polytechnic. And from thereafter, I came to Lagos for an industrial attachment.
So, sir, mentioning your journey from secondary school to the university and pursuing your certificational career,
Yes.
how was your parents' support like? Were they, I knew probably, obviously there was no money. Some would say you have to fetch for yourself. Some would say you have to learn an unskilled labor or an unskilled profession just to meet up. So were they in support of you going to school? Because some parents have money, some don't have, and they still don't encourage education. So was it like, okay, there was no money, but they were in support?
Thank you very much. Like I said, after my OND, which they supported,
Okay.
I was on my own from
From
1987 there on. I did my IT at museum. I was working at museum and then along the line writing ICANN examination. And it didn't take long time. I cleared all the exam quickly.
Wow. Wow.
And from then on, I took care of my brothers. We are 8 siblings and happened to be second. Okay, so I took care of every one of us. We're all graduates by every means. And it's just concentration and determination to succeed.
Yes, definitely.
It is not anybody's, people come to my office today and they wonder, oh, can I set up? It took time.
Yes.
People must be patient. People
Yes.
must know that when you do the right things, the good things will come to you.
Definitely. Definitely, sir. Beautiful, beautiful, sir.
Thank you.
Beautiful, sir. Sir, I would like to ask about becoming the managing consultant at PEDABO. What did you do, or when did you realize you had to, something must have sparked that blaze or that gaze to say, okay, it is time for me to have my accounting or audit firm or a tax consultancy firm. Where were you? Were you working for a tax firm? Because you have to be in an audit firm for 3 years before the institute allows you to go about your own consultancy firm. So when was this period that you said to yourself, it is time?
Well, like I said, I trained with, after my qualification,
Yes.
when I was working at the National Museum, and I qualified in 1990 as a chartered accountant. I joined the firm of Babington Ashaya & Co.,
Okay.
an audit and insolvency practitioner
Okay.
and tax expert.
So where is this firm?
The firm?
Lagos here?
Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay.
Babington Ashaya was a former ICANN president.
Okay.
Okay, so I worked with him for 7 years, from 1992 to October 1998.
Okay.
And by 1998, I thought I've learned enough. And in conjunction with my partner, who is still my partner now,
Okay.
we started PEDABO on 1st of November 1998
Yes.
as afresh.
Oh.
Okay, and we started growing the firm, and we thank God where we are today.
Okay. So who is this co-founder of yours who you both established PEDABO together with?
His name is Ajibade Fashina. He was working with, he trained with Ernst & Young,
Okay.
left
Okay.
to join a mortgage firm
Okay.
before he joined me at, we jointly started PEDABO.
Okay. So, sir, let us come to the real topic of the day,
Okay.
which is taxation in the oil and gas sector. 1956, oil was discovered. 1960, we got more control of the crude oil. Fast forward to the 21st century.
Okay.
We all know that crude oil, marketation of crude oil, or marketing of crude oil, pardon me, is the mainstay of Nigerian economy. And we all know that the resources is either used for redistribution of income or for growth of the economy, provide social infrastructure and all that. Now, one of the sources of generating this revenue, which is from the tax authority, FIRS I mean now. I know the tax act that is associated with, generation of oil revenue is the PPT, which is the Petroleum Profit Tax.
Yeah.
Sir, can you give us an introduction on what PPT is? Because people say, what is PPT? What is Petroleum
All
Profit
right,
Tax?
thank you very much. Like you said, the oil and gas industry,
Yes.
for tax purposes, is actually categorized into two presently, even though we know that when the PIB, the Petroleum Industry Bill, is eventually signed, we'll have three categories.
Okay.
Now we have the upstream. Those are that is the sector that deals with the actual exploration and production of crude oil and gas. And then we have the downstream, which deals with the marketing and distribution of petroleum products. And in the PIB, we're likely to have the midstream, until that is passed, but that is the category. So all companies operating in the upstream sector, companies that have mineral rights, either an OPL, an OML, or an OEL, okay, they are liable to tax under the Petroleum Profit Tax Act of 1990, Cap P13, Law of the Federation of Nigeria. And so they pay their taxes under the Petroleum Profit Tax Act. The tax rate ranges from 65.75% in the first 5 years, subsequently 85% of their chargeable profit. And of course, for those that are that dwell on marginal field operation, they are taxed at the rate of 55%. That is the upstream sector. The downstream sector are liable to tax under the Companies Income Tax Act, CITA, of 1990.
So
and they are taxed at the rate of 30%.
You mentioned the marginal field.
Yeah.
Why is the marginal field being taxed a lesser tax rate?
Well, a marginal field is any field which has been left unattended for at least a period of 10 years, or a field that is owned by the oil major, which as far as the oil majors are concerned, are not that commercially viable. And so where they're not that commercially viable, the provision of the petroleum practice is that such field must be ceded to those who are interested. Because their marginal field means that they are not that commercially viable. And so in order to encourage, investment and exploration on marginal field area, the tax rate was reduced to 55%. It's a concession by the DPR, and I think it's just justifiable. And there are areas that are normally, exploited by, the indigenous operators, the sole risk, other than the IOC, the international oil companies. So that is the main reason. And like I said, the categorization is upstream and downstream.
And the PIB.
The PIB
is signed into,
of course, they are trying to break it into phases now. Now they have successfully passed, even though it's still awaiting presidential assent, the corporate governance aspects of the PIB. We still have the fiscal aspect and the other aspects.
So what is because if you are saying you want to put a middle scale between upstream and downstream sector, we know downstream sector has to do with, offshore. Then you're talking about upstream, that's onshore. And you have degrees of distances into the sea.
No, the upstream has nothing to do with offshore and onshore. No. The upstream has to do with either exploration and production of crude oil and gas, while the downstream is actually relating to the marketing and distribution of petroleum products. All those services you have in the petrol stations are referred to as downstream operation. The midstream that is being categorized is majorly the gas utilization sector. Gas utilization is the capturing of the gas element of hydrocarbon during crude oil exploration. So that is what is going to form the midstream, whereby companies that are into either exploration of gas in its original state, or those who are capturing gas that is associated with crude oil, which is, the plan again is to reduce gas flaring. Gas flaring is the burning off of the gas element of hydrocarbon, which government is not too, we need so much gas. Gas is used for the power sector. Gas is used by companies. We have the LNG that are converting gas to liquid. All those are gas utilization regimes. And so government is trying to categorize them into one sector as the midstream.
Okay, sir. Another challenge which I see sitting from here is the level of poor administration when it comes to tax revenue generation by the tax authority. Either they are not well informed, or they are not well educated, or they are not well prepared when it comes to tax coverage, when it comes to tax assessment, tax liability assessment. There seems to be this gap, and you find out that so many companies are able to evade tax because the system is still porous, the system is still open. So what do you think can be done to reduce this vacuum that these guys, rotate around?
Thank you very much. Tax evasion, tax avoidance is all over the place. And of course, not only peculiar to Nigeria, we also have aggressive tax avoidance, which in some countries are viewed to be criminal in nature. So, of course, the tax authorities are trying their best, as far as I'm concerned. But of course, the level of knowledge, the level of skill can still be improved upon. I believe that there's need for more education. If you know what tax you're supposed to pay, it is most likely that you pay. A lot of people don't even know that the taxes they're supposed to pay, even up to now. And that is why you will see that the impact of the voluntary asset and income declaration is really very felt in some states that really took it up upon themselves to utilize that window of opportunity. So I believe that taxpayers' education is key.
Yes.
Tax authorities' improvement and training is critical. The use of electronic platform, which the FRS and the states are focusing on seriously, will also improve the level of tax compliance. As of today, we have the tax to GDP ratio in the region of about 6%, which is about the lowest anywhere. Okay, Ghana is about 13%.
Wow.
The European countries about 32%, and so we are still far away. So a lot still has to be done in terms of ensuring and widening the tax net and bringing more people into the tax net. A lot of people want to pay their tax. A lot, from what I've seen, a lot want to pay, but the challenge usually is they don't know how much to pay, they don't know when to pay, and the major question as consultant that we face is that what is government doing with the revenue? They believe that most of the funds are being stolen, are being stacked away abroad, are being used to buy properties by government officials. That has been the major challenge, and that is what we face as consultants. But of course, as government continue to pursue and ensure reduction in corruption, a lot more will be done. And if we take it up upon ourselves too, to ensure that we pay our taxes, you ask more questions. Because what has happened before now is that the bulk of the revenue comes from crude oil, which is not anybody's tax. But by the time personal income tax is improved and you pay your tax, you definitely want government to account for what the tax revenue has been used for.
Beautiful, sir. Yeah. You face these oil companies on a daily basis. You act as a tax consultant, and you provide business advisory services for them. How do you help them manage their tax obligation? I know you have to remit these taxes to various the FRS, the LIRS. What is it like remitting these taxes? What do you face on a daily basis when you're in contact with these tax authority personnel?
Well, if you go to the tax authority, you must know what you want to do. Okay, even where they don't know, you educate them on what you want. And to a large extent, we have very many experienced people at the tax office.
Interesting.
Okay, when you do something over and over, you get used to it. If there's any change, of course, people resist change. But of course, along with time, people get used to it. So, in terms of remittance are done online. You don't collect check below 10 million now. So, remittances, there are platforms for remittances of tax by the IOC, by the small oil companies, and all that. What we just do is to do the normal returns filing. You filed the VAT returns within 21 days of each month. You file the withholding tax returns. And of course, you ensure that at the end of the year, the corporate tax returns for the oil companies are filed within 5 months, while those who are yet to commence petroleum exploration are required to file their returns under SITA. And if they have any income that is not crude oil related, they pay tax on it at 30% under SITA. So the experience has been pretty, it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yes, it's a mutual relationship.
Yeah, of course.
Sir, I would like to ask, for a company who is trying to set foot in the oil and gas sector, for instance, the upstream sector, what would you advise them to do? Because some just dabble into it because of the profit aspects. They want to take advantage of the loopholes in the sector and generate revenue for themselves. So can you let them know what is involved before they step foot into that industry?
You cannot just dabble into the oil industry. For you to be an oil company, you must have the right, the mineral right. Okay, either the oil prospecting license or the oil mining lease. And of course, you must have been allocated with oil block by the federal government. Okay, even though the PI bill is hoping to break that monopoly of ownership of the oil blocks, but as of today, it is still the federal government that owns the oil blocks. So they do the allocation, they do the bidding, they make it available. So if you are able to win any of those oil block winning process, then of course, if you don't have the funding, it takes a lot of funding to go into exploration. And so you may need international foreign partners who have the fund to be able to carry out exploration,
Yes.
you go into appraisal drilling, you go into development, of course, before you commence production.
Okay.
So it's a lot of effort. It's not something anybody can just run into.
Yes.
If you run into it, you run out quickly. And so it takes a lot of feasibility study,
Yes.
takes a lot of business planning, and some of them, you can even go to the oil block and it is dry. So you must carry out your seismic survey to confirm that the existence. It's always good to go into a proved territory instead of going into a wildcat exploration. You know,
So you mentioned the seismic territory, which has to do with the geographical.
seismic survey.
Yes, it has to do with the geographical environment of.
It's the
where you're
process
about
of ascertaining the existence and the extent of oil deposit on a
Yes.
particular oil.
Okay. This is very, very important, because when you have all that is necessary in terms of documentation, in terms of preparation, and you go into that field and there is nothing, that is the end of the business. So what do you think should be done when it comes to the seismic aspect, when it comes to finding out if this place is really what it is?
There are experts that are into the geologists who, and of course, to save time, you can take up under a farm-out arrangement.
Okay.
A farm-out arrangement is such that we have the IOCs that already have some proved oil territories. Okay, which maybe, as far as they're concerned, the existence of the oil is not that commercially viable as far as they're concerned. Okay, but you can go in there as a small person that is just going to the oil industry, and under a farm-out arrangement with the oil majors. And you can bring in technical support or technical partners through a farming arrangement. All of those processes are in place for you if you want to go into the oil industry. But it's not for...
It's not for the small timers.
No.
It's for the big boys. So, interesting. We've been highly educated by all you have said today, and those who are dabbling on entering the oil and gas sector, they already know what it entails, or they have a snapshot of what it is. So they know now that they can't just dabble into it if they are not the big timers. So, sir, I want to appreciate you for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure.
I want to thank you for seeing our vision and encouraging the show. Sir, it is a privilege to have you. I'm very, very honored. I'm very, very humbled. I'm very, very happy to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure. Like I said, if you do the right things, you get the good things.
Yes.
I wish you success.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for having me.
We'll go for this commercial break, and when we come back, our guests have a word for you.
We are open to your suggestions and ideas to better serve you. Please send your creative ideas and suggestions to valuecreator365@gmail.com.
And our guest in the house has a word of advice for the youth out there. And, sir, the floor is all yours.
All right. Well, as an accountant, you know, the accountants pride themselves with so much integrity. And so if you want to be an accountant or you're an accountant there, you must hold the integrity as very key. Whatever you do, remember you're a member of the noble profession. Okay, there's no aggression. Everything will fall in place at its time. Do the right things, be hardworking, do what is right, don't be on the wrong side of the law. And at the end of the day, it will just be joy in terms of success. Be hardworking, be focused, and be prudent in all that you do. And I wish you all good success. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Mr. Afolorunsho for coming on the show, the MD of PEDABO Professional Services, and talking about taxation in the oil and gas sector. To all our viewers, I want to say thank you for watching. You can follow us on the social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube page. It's one account handle. It is the Accountant 360. That is the Accountant 360. And I want to say, in everything you do, be accountable.